Welcome. Today we're gonna do a low taper fade. The top we're gonna do it point cutting and also using the texturizing scissors. We're gonna start with the left side, comb the hair with the grain to organize the hair for the cut. To avoid a line, trap the hair against the clipper and continue cutting until the back. We are using number 8 and we are using it in a diagonal position to avoid making lines. Continue cutting until the back. Then we're gonna comb the hair down once again and we're gonna cut using number 8 a bit higher to soften the line we did with number 8. Now we're gonna use number 4 a bit lower than we used number 8 and continue cutting in a diagonal position. We are only cutting the border of the hairline using number 4. Continue until the back. We are prepping the hair to later use number 3 a bit lower. Now we're gonna use number 3 a bit lower than we used number 4. Remember, we are cutting in a diagonal position. By cutting this way, you avoid making lines. We are only cutting the border of the hairline. Don't bring the clipper too high to avoid making a line. Now we're gonna cut the sideburn, protect the longer hair and cut with number 3 this section of the head. Now we're gonna use the 1.5 cut in a diagonal position to avoid making lines. Here we're gonna use the 0.5 or half and we're gonna make the line of the fade. Then close the blade to use number 0 and use it a bit lower than we used the 0.5 or half. Use number 1 with an open blade. We are cutting only using the border of the guard. Cut from left to right. Then use number 1 with a closed blade a bit lower than we used it with an open blade. Open the blade to use the 0.5 or half and we're gonna clear the darker areas using the border of the clipper's blade. We are cutting from left to right. Close the blade to use number 0 and use it a bit lower than we used the 0.5 or half and clear the darker areas left close to the line. The rest of the hair we cut it using the trimmer. We're gonna make the edge on the sideburn using the border of the trimmer's blade. Now use the shaver a bit lower than we used the trimmer. Don't bring the shaver too high to avoid making a line. Now we're gonna make the right side. We're gonna use the same procedure, trapping the hair against the clipper using number 8. We're gonna continue until the back. Later we're gonna comb the hair once again with the grain and we're gonna make a cut a bit higher to soften the line we did with number 8. By using this technique we avoid making a line. Now we're gonna use number 4 a bit lower than we used number 8 and continue cutting in a diagonal position until the back. Now we're gonna use number 3 a bit lower than we used number 4 and continue cutting in a diagonal position to avoid making lines. We are only cutting the border. Continue with the sideburn area. We're gonna use number 1.5 in a diagonal position. To make the line of the fade, we're gonna use the 0.5 or half. Then we're gonna close the blade to use number 0 a bit lower than we used the 0.5. Use number 1 with an open blade, only using the border of the guard. Then Use number 1 with a closed blade and use it a bit lower than we used it with an open blade. Now we're gonna clear the darker areas. We're gonna open the blade to use the 0.5 and we're gonna cut from right to left, only clearing the darker areas. Then close the blade to use number 0 and continue cutting the darker areas lefted close to the line. The rest of the hair we cut it using the trimmer, and also we're gonna make the edge on the sideburn. Now we're gonna use the shaver using the border of the shaver's blade. Continue cutting a bit lower than we cut with the trimmer. Now we're gonna cut the neck area, cut in a diagonal position, and we're gonna start using the 1.5. Remove the 1.5, open the blade to use the 0.5 for half and make the line of the fade. Then we're gonna close the blade to use number 0 and we're gonna use it a bit lower than we used the 0.5 for half. Use number 1 with an open blade, only using the border of the guard. Then use number 1 with a closed blade a bit lower than we used it with an open blade. Now we're gonna use the 0.5, only using the border of the clipper's blade. We are cutting from right to left and we're gonna clear the darker areas. Then close the blade to use number 0 and clear the darker areas left close to the line. Do the same procedure on the left side of the neck. Use number 1 with a closed blade, continue using the border of the guard, and we are cutting from left to right. We are cutting a bit lower than we used number 1 with an open blade. Use the 0.5 to clear the darker areas and cut from left to right. We are only using the border of the clipper's blade. Now close the blade to use number 0 and we're gonna clear the darker areas left close to the line. The rest of the hair on the bottom part we cut it using the trimmer. Now we're gonna make the lineup. We can use this part of the comb to extract the hair hidden on the edge. As you can see, I'm only using the border of the trimmer's blade. Make the same procedure on the right side. Using the comb, extract the hair hidden on the edge. Use the shaver a bit lower than we use the trimmer and don't bring it too high so you don't make a line. The top we did it with scissors. We're gonna start with the front and we're gonna use the point cutting technique. Connect the right side and then we're gonna connect the left side. Now we're gonna cut the top, cut using the same technique, point cutting. We're gonna do the center first and then we're gonna connect the right side and the left side. Don't make the sections too wide so it's easier to cut the hair. Don't bring the scissors too close to your fingers so you don't cut yourself. Now we're gonna connect the right side. As you can see here, I'm eliminating at least half of the hair so I don't make the section too wide. Continue point cutting until the back. Now we're gonna use the texturizing scissors. We're gonna make 3 cuts going up. We're gonna start with the center and then we're gonna connect the right side and the left side. Don't make the sections too wide so it's easier to cut the hair. The second and third lateral section we cut it scissor over comb. On the sides, instead of cutting up, we're gonna cut going out. We can polish this section a bit more, cutting scissor over comb. Now we're gonna do the shave. We're gonna use the straight razor and the shaving gel. We are shaving, putting most of the pressure on the right side of the blade. Now we're gonna shave the neck, only open away, the rest we're gonna shave it going down. This way we avoid shaving too close to avoid rash or ingrown hairs. Also shave the sideburn on the right side. I'm using the hair dryer and a texturizing comb to prep the hair for the product. In this case we use the powder to give it more volume and texture and keeping the dry look. We're gonna use a small portion, then if we need more we add more. This is the final result. This was a low taper fade. The top we did it using the point cutting technique to make texture. I hope you liked my video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.